These themes are going to be a part of every unit we learn this year, so let's shred them up. Our first theme is conflict and change. Think about these questions a minute. This picture taken in Syria shows the results of conflict. Do you think change will happen? Do you think the little boy's life will change? Do you think the government will change? Do you think the conflict is over? So what is conflict? Conflict is a disagreement or clash between ideas, principles, or people. So just remember that conflict usually is because people are fighting over limited resources, land, or making decisions about people. Also, don't forget that the change that results usually is wide-ranging and has long-term effects. Our next theme is culture. Think about these things. What are 3 things that are part of your family's culture? Should schools try to influence or reflect the students' cultures? What culture conflicts have you seen in your school in the United States? And last, why do you choose the friends you choose? So your culture is just the beliefs, customs, and ways of living shared by a group of people. If you live in the South, you're part of the Southern culture. You may eat biscuits, you drink sweet tea, and say things like, "Hey, y'all." So remember these important things about culture. Our next theme is trade. Think about these questions. How does your family decide to make and spend money? What is voluntary trade? What is the economy? What is development? Why was money invented? Voluntary trade, the economy, and development are the 3 things that we'll be learning about this year when we study the different regions. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about trade this year, but just remember that nations support free trade or trade barriers at different times for different reasons. You may remember that we have an embargo with Cuba. Also, countries throughout the world have developed different types of economic systems. Our next theme is human-environment interaction. Think about these things. How has the landscape changed when neighborhoods were built? What does that change look like? What jobs are available because of the physical geography near you? Can you go work at a ski resort in Georgia? Remember that the environment is the circumstances or conditions that surround you. Human-environment interactions are the ways that humans and the environment affect each other. There are 3 ways that humans can interact with their environment. They can adapt to it, they can modify it, and they can depend on it. We will be discussing environmental issues this year as a way of looking at the way humans and their society are affected by and affect the environment around them. The next theme we'll be talking about is movement and migration. Think about these things. How have your opinions, likes, and dislikes changed from the beginning of 5th grade to the beginning of 6th grade? Also, if you were going to move, what would be the most important part in deciding where you'd go? So when we talk about the movement and migration of people, things, and ideas, we have 3 different ways: human movement, information movement, and idea movement. Just to clarify, migration is when people are moving within your own country or from country to country. Movement is how people and ideas change locations and how goods are traded. The important thing to remember about movement migration is that there's nowhere that exists in isolation. All societies depend on other societies in some shape, fashion, or form. It is an idea of interconnectedness. It's where we get the term globalization. Time out.